Ladies and gentlemen, I need you to lean in close, because what I'm about to share with you isn't just another finance tip. It's the exact moment where your life splits into two completely different timelines. One where you stay exactly where you are, and one where everything changes. $20,000. That's the number sitting in your bank account right now. And here's what nobody tells you. That money is screaming. It's begging you to make a decision. Because here's the brutal truth every single day who wait. That $20,000 is dying. Inflation is eating it alive at 3% per year. That's $600 vanishing into thin air annually. But most people, they do absolutely nothing. And I know what you're thinking. I'll just keep it safe. I'll leave it in my savings account. But let me paint you a picture of what safe really means. In 10 years, with inflation, so here's the fork in the road. Here's where winners and losers are separated. And I'm not talking about luck. I'm talking about one simple decision you make in the next 48 hours. Because $20,000 isn't just money. It's a weapon, it's a key, it's the exact amount that can unlock doors that have been closed to you your entire life. Now, before I tell you exactly what to do, I need you to understand something critical. The wealthy don't think like you do. They don't see $20,000 as savings. They see it as soldiers, an army of dollars that needs to be deployed, needs to be working, needs to be multiplying while they sleep. And that's the first mindset shift you need to make right now. Step 1. And this is non-negotiable. You take $1,500 of that $20,000 and you build your armor. I'm talking about a basic emergency fund if you don't have one. Not the full 6 months of expenses that comes later. Just enough to handle a flat tire, a broken phone, a small medical bill. Because here's what kills people financially. One tiny emergency, and they panic. They pull everything out of their investments at the worst possible time, but here's where it gets interesting. Here's where the suspense builds. Because what you do with the remaining $18,500 will determine whether you retire at 65 or 45, whether you stress about money every month, or sleep peacefully knowing your wealth is growing automatically. Are you ready for this? Take $6,000, exactly $6. And I want you to open a Roth IRA today, not tomorrow, today. Why? Because this is the single most powerful wealth-building tool the government has ever given you. You put in after-tax dollars now, and every single penny of growth, every dividend, every capital gain, comes out completely tax-free when you retire. Zero taxes, forever. But here's the catch that makes this urgent. You can only contribute $7,000 per year if you're under 50. And the clock is ticking on this year's contribution window. Every day you wait is a day you can't get back. Imagine turning that $6,000 into $100,000 over 30 years and paying $0 in taxes on that $94,000 gain. That's not a fantasy. That's mathematics. Now you've got $12,500 left. And this is where most people make their biggest mistake. They get scared. They freeze. They leave it in checking just in case, but not you, because you understand that calculated risk is how wealth is actually built. So here's what the smart money does. Take $7,500 and put it into a low-cost index fund in a taxable brokerage account. I am talking about something like a total stock market index fund or an S&P 500 fund. Why? Because over the last 100 years, the stock market has returned an average of 10% annually. Could you lose money in any given year? Absolutely. But here's the secret. You're not investing for 1 year. You're investing for decades. And here's where the magic happens. Here's where wealth compounds in ways that will shock you. That $7,500, growing at 10% annually, becomes $194,779 in 30 years, without you adding another penny. That's not a get-rich-quick scheme, that's patience weaponized. That's time being your employee instead of your enemy. But wait, you still have $5,000 burning a hole in your pocket, and this is where we separate the truly ambitious from the dreamers. This $5,000 is your freedom fund. This is your bet on yourself. Money, and what you do with it, will either change your life trajectory or haunt you with regret 5 years from now. Here are your options, and you need to choose wisely. Option 1. Invest in education that directly increases your earning power, not another random degree. I'm talking about certifications, courses, skills that make you worth more tomorrow than you are today. A project management certification, coding bootcamp, real estate licensing, something that adds $10,000 to your annual salary. Because a $10,000 raise over 30 years is worth $300,000 in lifetime earnings. Option 2, and this is for the bold, start a side business. $5,000 is enough to launch a legitimate business in 2025. An e-commerce store, a consulting practice, a service business, content creation equipment, whatever aligns with your skills. And here's the kicker. If that business generates just $500 a month in profit, that's $6,000 a year. Your $5,000 investment pays for itself in 10 months, and then it's pure profit forever. Option 3. Invest in assets that generate passive income. Real estate crowdfunding platforms let you invest in real estate with as little as $500. Dividend-paying stocks that put money in your account every quarter. Peer-to-peer lending. High-yield bonds. The goal: create money that makes money while you're sleeping, working, or spending time with people you love. But here's the dark side nobody talks about. Here's the nightmare scenario that keeps financial advisors up at night. You take this $20,000 and you do nothing. You leave it sitting in a 0.5% savings account because it feels safe. And 10 years from now, you're in the exact same place. Still stressed about money. Still living paycheck to paycheck. Still wondering when your life is going to change. Meanwhile, the person who took action today, they've got $60,000 in their Roth IRA, another $80,000 in their brokerage account. Now, let me address the elephant in the room. But what if I need that money? What if there's an emergency? This is why we kept that $1,500 emergency fund. This is why we're not putting everything into retirement accounts you can't touch. The $7,500 in your brokerage account, you can access it anytime. It's liquid. It's there. But here's the truth. If you're constantly having emergencies that require $20,000, the problem isn't your savings. It's your spending. And here's another hard truth. The biggest risk isn't investing. The biggest risk is inflation and inaction. The biggest risk is waking up at 60 years old with nothing but regrets and a savings account that hasn't grown in 30 years. That's the real danger. Not market volatility, not short-term losses, but permanent poverty caused by fear. So let's talk about the psychology of wealth. Because this isn't really about money. It's about identity. It's about whether you see yourself as someone who makes money work for them or someone who works for money their entire life. It's about whether you're a consumer or an investor, a spender or a builder. And that $20,000 is your opportunity to declare who you are. The wealthy understand something profound. Money is like a seed. You can eat it today, satisfy immediate hunger, and have nothing tomorrow. Or you can plant it, nurture it, and create an orchard that feeds you for the rest of your life. Your $20,000 is a handful of seeds. And the only question that matters is, are you going to eat them or plant them? Here's what happens in the next 90 days if you take action today. Week 1. You set up your emergency fund and Roth IRA. Week 2. You open your brokerage account and make your first index fund purchase. Week 3. You research your $5,000 opportunity education, business, or income-generating assets. Week 4. You execute. And by day 90, You've completely transformed your financial trajectory. But here's the final twist. Here's the part that will either inspire you or terrify you. This advice, it works regardless of economic conditions. Market crash. Your dollar cost averaging buys more shares at lower prices. Inflation. Your stocks and real estate historically outpace inflation. Recession. Your skills and side business provide additional income security. The principles don't change. Only the excuses do. So here we are. The moment of truth. You have $20,000 saved. You have a blueprint, $1,500 emergency fund, $6,000 in a Roth IRA, $7,500 in index funds, and $5,000 in yourself. You have a choice: transformation or stagnation, wealth building or wealth wasting. And you have 48 hours before the momentum of this moment fades and you fall back into the same patterns that got you here. $20,000. It's not enough to retire on. But it's more than enough to begin. It's enough to plant the first tree in what will become your financial forest. It's enough to take the first step on a journey that ends in freedom. The question isn't whether this works. The question is whether you will. The clock is ticking. Your $20,000 is waiting. What will you do? Let me tell you one final story. To people, same age, same income. And here's what haunts me about that story. Person B didn't fail because they were unlucky. They didn't fail because of a market crash or bad timing. They failed because they chose comfort over growth. They chose the illusion of safety over the reality of wealth building. They chose to protect $20,000 and lost the chance at $800,000. That's not financial advice. That's tragedy. But you're different. You're still reading. You're still here, which means somewhere deep inside, you know this is your moment. You know that $20,000 isn't just money, it's potential energy waiting to be converted into kinetic wealth. It's your launching pad, your catalyst, your point of no return. And the beautiful thing about this moment, you can't mess this up if you follow the formula. So here's your homework. Before you go to bed tonight, I want you to write down 3 things. First, the name of the brokerage where you'll open your Roth IRA. Second, which index fund you'll invest in. Third, what skill or business you'll invest that final $5,000 into. 3 decisions, 1 piece of paper. And tomorrow, you execute. Because $20,000 saved is an achievement. But $20,000 invested? That's a revolution. That's your declaration of financial independence. That's you choosing to join the ranks of wealth builders instead of staying stuck with the wealth wishers. Your move, your money, your future. Make it count. The person who moves a mountain begins by carrying away small stones. Confucius, your $20,000 is your first stone. Start carrying.